Do you know what a sociopath really is? Now, I mention this because I think this is a very serious and important thing to mention and have a discussion about. There was a video I saw of these two douchebags, pieces of shit, where they caught a fish and they put a firework in its mouth and it exploded in the fish, right? It killed the fish. And I'm thinking, okay, when you see animal abuse like that, I read this book called The Sociopath Next Door. I have it, I'm moving soon, but I have it on my bookshelf in the living room. I should have grabbed it before this video. But The Sociopath Next Door. This book is absolutely, I think it's by Dr. Martha Stout. It's a must read for everybody. Like, everybody's got to read this book. Because once you understand what a sociopath is, it's not always a serial killer. Everyone always thinks that a sociopath is a serial killer, somebody that goes to that extent in terms of harming others. No, a sociopath is someone that probably just abuses animals a lot. And they know that's what they can get away with because they still understand consequences, but they have no moral consciousness. That's very confusing, but think about it. They don't have a moral consequence, but they do know what can happen if they get caught for certain things. So it's not that they don't want to do it. They need that release in some way. So they could have it in them to, like, let me put it this way. There's a story that just like what those fucking douchebags did with that fish, I'm like, those are sociopaths because the only way, and they were like adults, the only way you could have that in you is if you have no conscience. If you're not morally conscious, that's the only way you can pull that off. Anybody else that is actually a good person could just like never do that for fun. Like there's no benefit to it. You're not even catching it to eat the fish. You're not even doing it for survival and like, thank you God for the blessing of catching this fish or anything. You're purposely doing the most inhumane thing because you get a joy out of it, right? So in the book, she mentions, think about those times where you run into road rage incidents and you're like, what is that? Where is that from? Sometimes you can tell it's because the road rage happened because sociopaths don't like to be inconvenienced. They're the most easily triggered when they're inconvenienced out of anybody. This is why not everyone has road rage. Sometimes you see people where, yes, you get frustrated, you get mad, you cuss, you honk the horn. But I'm talking real road rage where you accidentally cut somebody off in a merging lane and they're freaking out and they're wanting to be violent with you. They get out of the car, they're trying to bust your window. You're like, that's not a normal reaction over a petty thing. That's not normal. And usually that could be somebody you ran into with a mental illness. And sociopaths don't like being inconvenienced. They love inconveniencing, but they will truly try to harm you in some kind of way if you inconvenience them. So there's a lot of things that people don't realize are not just one-off bad behaviors or just, oh, he must be going through a hard time, because it's usually always fucking men that are sociopaths. There's more sociopathic men by far than women. It's not even close. So it's not saying there's no sociopathic women, but it's mostly men, of course. Always the problem. But the thing is, when you read this book, you will start seeing like you might have a sociopathic boss or cops, right? Notice the difference in behavior between firefighters and cops. And when you look at cops, like there's that cop that shot that dog in New York. The one, I think it was in New York, is at the apartment complex. I think it was like a noise disturbance because they were celebrating or something. And she had like a sheepadoodle looking dog. And the dog accidentally ran out of the apartment and started barking. And the cop shot it dead, like 5 times, shot it. Not even like a try to push it away or like, please get your dog, please get your dog. Kicked it. That would have even been acceptable, at least. Like in any good person would have been like, yeah, I have a gun, I have a taser, I'm in armor. Like, my job is dealing with danger all the time. Like, what's a dog going to do? Like, I'm just going to kick it away. Like, don't you guys got training for this or something? You would think these cops know how to handle like a dog provoking them, right? Like you don't even got dog treats on you to be like, it's okay, boy, it's okay. And like you give the dog a treat to just like distract it. Like, holy shit, there's so many other things you can do to deter a dog to like make sure you let it know to not bother you, right? Like, why don't cops carry dog treats for Christ's sakes? It's so weird. Anyhow, but the thing is, when a cop does something like that, there's a chance they did it because they actually wanted to do it, right? I don't know 100% because I'm not in the cop's mind, but chances are, allegedly, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes, and I'm not being serious, I'm just joking. God forbid I run into a lawsuit. It's just a joke. I'm not serious. That cop probably is a sociopath because of the way he went about it. The way they were even talking about the dog when the dog started barking, the way they were cussing and their attitude and their language and their tone, I was like, most likely sociopaths because that's just not normal to be that toxic that quick where a dog inconvenienced you. Like, why are you guys even there for a noise ordinance anyway? In that way, like, why couldn't somebody call her? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, why couldn't the neighbor? This is what I hate about people calling the cops on everything. It's like, oh my God, some things can be handled really easily. Why don't you go join the party? Like, my God, the Knicks just won. Like, of course the city's celebrating, but I'm just giving examples of like firefighters. I brought that up because you see a lot more of that sociopathic behavior in cops because they can get away with it. Whereas firefighters, like a firefighter is not going to shoot a dog. Like they signed up for a role of saving people, of saving animals, of stopping danger. Where a lot of people gravitate towards positions of authority as police officers because they can get away with abuse of power. And that's the difference. And these are all things like you read this book and you start seeing this. You see this in relationships. You see this in people with positions of authority, politicians, your boss, right? All kinds of situations. But really, like one of the easiest signs is if a kid is abusive to animals early on, right? Because they're a kid, that's an early sign. Like if they love to get a pet hamster so they can kill it, it's like that kid has mental issues. Literally, that's not like a accident. They're mentally ill, and you should highly consider if this kid has a moral conscience or not. That's just not like bad behavior because they misunderstood how to handle the hamster. I'm talking about those kids out there that like they'll purposely like torture their hamster or something. Like it exists. This is a serious thing. Like it's really sad what exists out there when people don't have a moral conscience, right? And I'm just getting into the beginning of it. But this is a must for people to understand.